Hey Rowdy Coders! In my recent job switch, I have been interviewed at many companies. In this video, we'll be solving a question that was asked in HealthBrick's interview. So the interviewer asked me to create a pagination component and which is nothing but implementation of infinite scroll functionality. As it was a React Native role, I have solved this particular question in React Native itself. And to render large amount of data, we always prefer FlatList in React Native. And there are other options as well, like FlashList to solve to render large amount of data. And in this video, we'll be solving this particular infinite scroll functionality using FlatList. And as this is very important question, I have created a blog on this particular question, and I'll be sharing the link to the blog in the description. And you'll be also able to find this particular question in our Rowdy Coders official website, where I have given most asked interview questions, and this particular question will also be available over there, and you'll be able to find the code to this particular question over here. And as mentioned, I'll be providing the link to this particular blog in the description. So without wasting much time, let's start coding this particular question. So to create this particular infinite scroll functionality, the interviewer shared me this particular API endpoint where we'll be able to fetch large number of data from this particular endpoint. Let's check out how to use this particular endpoint for pagination. Let me open this particular site and let me open the GitHub repo, and let's check the guidelines on how to use this particular endpoint for pagination. So here for paginate, they have given that we need to give a page param and page number in the endpoint, so that we'll get that particular page number data. Okay, so yeah, let me copy this and let's paste it over here. Okay, and we need to call our endpoint this way to fetch page 1 details. Okay, and for page 2 we have to fetch this way. Okay, and for now let's remove this particular per page. We don't need that. If we wanted those kind of parameters, we can add those parameters by putting and the parameter name. Okay, so firstly, to create this particular infinite scroll, we need to show this particular data in a large list. Okay, so we'll need to fetch this particular data firstly, right? To fetch this whole data from this particular endpoint, we'll be kind of calling this API within our use effect. Okay, so let me call this endpoint within our use effect. Okay, so here fetch, and within fetch will be kind of pasting this particular URL over here, and I'll be resolving this data. And here uh, this is a stream, so we need to convert this particular data to a JSON format, and then we'll be kind of setting this particular data, will be kind of setting this within a state. Okay, so here let me create a state. Let's say data set data use state. In this state, let me give an empty array, and let me import it from React use state, and as well use effect as well. Okay, and here we'll be kind of setting this particular data within our use state. Okay, so here is my data, and we'll be setting it here. And here let me remove these two. So now we got the data, and it's time to show this particular data over here. So now to show this particular data, we'll be using FlatList, as this is a large amount of scrollable data. So we'll be choosing FlatList here. FlatList. So here let me import this particular FlatList from React Native, and in this FlatList we have mandatory parameters like data, which is our data, right? and we need to give a key extractor. Key extractor is equals to, let's say, item here, item, and this item dot id. Okay, id is unique, so let me give id over here, item dot id. And uh, and and we'll also have to give render item where we'll have a function render item. We'll be creating this particular function over here. Okay, so here this render item where we'll be kind of showing, the title and the body in this particular render item. So for every list we'll be showing title and the body. So let me return a view. Within this particular view, right, within this particular view we'll be kind of showing title and body. Okay, let me import this item, and within this item we have item dot title, right? Title, yeah. So item dot title. Right now we have all of these titles, and here let me remove this particular text. Okay, and we'll be showing title and body. Here body, let's style it little better, so that it will look good. um styles dot um item, right? Let me style this item over here. uh, Item padding, mm, padding, let me put top and bottom padding of 20 pixel. Okay, and let's also put some padding between these title and body as well. Let me put style for this title, styles dot title. Let me style this title little better. So here we wanted font size, let's say 16 18 pixel. Okay, and font weight 600. Okay, and let's give padding bottom to to keep this particular body little away from the title. Let me put 5 pixel. 5 looks not so great, so let me put 10 pixel. Here it is. And let's also have, for whole of this container, let me put a border around this whole of this container. So what I'll be doing in this particular item, border width 1 pixel. I think it should be enough, right? And background color, let me put green or whatever. Okay, so this looks fine, and whole of the data is being rendered here. We need to show a pagination, right? So we don't want it to show all of the data. Whenever we scroll, we need to render new data, but not all of the data. Why? Because if we kind of show all of the data, it will definitely impact performance. That's where this particular infinite scroll comes into the picture. To optimize the performance, we kind of use this particular infinite scroll. So yeah, to do that, what we have to do is we need to know some parameters within this flat list. Let me open our blog. Let me show you different parameters that are there within our particular flat list. So here we have few parameters like on and reached, on and reached threshold, and on footer component are there. So we have to use these particular three parameters for implementing our functionality. So what this on and reached do means, whenever our data, whenever we scroll, when if the data reaches end, in that case whatever the function that is attached to this on and reached will be called. And yeah, so what we'll be doing means, we'll be implementing this particular on and reached. Okay, we'll be adding this particular on and reached here. Whenever our data reaches end, this particular on and reached will be called, right? So what we'll be doing here, instead of calling whole of the data, what I would do, I would kind of call, let's say, first page. Okay, here let's say page I have already given. This is how we have to call our page. Here i'll be giving I'll be giving page 1 here. Whenever the page 1, for page 1 some 10 results, let's say, by default will show up as per the documentation here. Okay, after 10 results, when we scroll, this page and reach will be called handle, let's say handle and handle and reached. So let me implement this here. So whenever our 10 results completes, right, in that case this particular on and reached will be called. Let me console it and show you. Dot log, this is being called. Okay, let me show this particular consoles as well. Let me scroll. See here, this is being called here after that particular end. So now this came to end. I'm not able to scroll here because only 10 results are there. Now whenever this comes to an end, we need to call few more results. Here we need to call the second page, right? So to achieve that, what we'll be doing means, I'll be creating a new state. Okay, I'll be creating a new state, name page number, let's say page number, set page number, use state, and the initial state will be page number 1. Okay, let me put page number 1 here, right? Page number 1 here. Here we need to give this particular strings. So here this is page number 1. I'll be taking this page number 1 here. Okay, so now whenever I come to an end, I need to kind of increase this page number. Okay, so what I'll be doing here, whenever I come to an end, I'll be increasing this page number by 1. Okay, so page number plus 1. Okay, once after it reaches end, right, in that case the page number will be incremented by 1, and now the page number is 2. While setting it, what we need to do means, we need to also take the last data, right, last data, and then whatever data that we got just now, we need to set that data as well. So let me put DA here to avoid confusions. Whatever the data that we got just now and the last data, both of these data we need to set. So we'll be setting this way. And also, if the page number changes, in that case we wanted to execute this particular fetch as well. So to achieve that, what I'll be doing means, I'll be putting page number within this particular dependency area of use effect. So let me reload this and check. So now we have 10. Yeah, if you see, this is working as expected, but if you observe, there is a glitch. When it reaches end, I'm not able to, identify whether it reached to end or not. So to make this look better, we need to use a footer component of our FlatList. So what I'll be doing here, I'll be giving list footer. What it does means it will kind of, call whenever our footer is at the end. So render f40 f40 footer. Now what I'll be doing, I'll be rendering this footer over here. Constant. So within this footer, we need to show that it is loading. So to show it is loading, we'll have the activity indicator in our React Native. So I'll be kind of returning activity indicator from this particular component. Okay. So let me save it. Let me remove this. Let me check whether it is being called. Let me reload it. Let me see. Yeah, if you see, activity indicator is visible at the bottom. So let's have a little, little padding over this activity indicator so that it looks little better. View. In this view, I'll be putting our activity indicator. Just trying to style it, that's all. Style, styles dot load your loader. Okay, let me style this loader here. Here let's put padding of 20 pixel over the activity indicator. Okay, now let me save this. Now if you see, yeah, once it is completed, yeah, it looks perfect right now. So what is this? This is not needed, somehow it got added. Okay, and if you observe, whenever we reach end, in that case only our API is being called and our data is visible. Let's say if the data is too large, after reaching the 10 results, if we call our API, then it will take some more time, and to show the other page data, it takes some time. So to avoid this kind of issue, we have other param, which is this particular on and reached threshold, where, we, let's say, if we, based on this parameter, we can call our data once we come to, let's say, if I put 0.5 over here, once it reaches half of the screen, from then it start, it start calling the other page data, and the other page data will be rendered when the user scrolls. So this way we'll be able to give better user experience. So yeah, this is one param we can make use of. And let's say there is one more chance, where here only 100 posts will be available within this particular post API endpoint. So what will happen if the user continuously scroll after 100 posts as well? This particular loader will continuously show. To kind of remove this particular loader after 100, 100 post fetches, we need to have one more state variable where we'll say load more, a kind of state variable will have set load more. Use state in the initial phase, I'll give load more to true. Okay, now let's say if if our data is more, in that case, if our data is more, in that case I'll say load more is true. Okay, if the data is not coming from this particular endpoint, in that case I'll say load more to false. Okay, so what I'll be doing, if the data is not coming from this particular endpoint, in that case I'll set it to false. So here, if da dot length is equals to 0, in that case I'll set it to false. Now if it is false, in that case I don't show this particular activity indicator. So what I'll be doing on reach end, if load more is present, in that case only I'll kind of show our activity indicator. Okay, in that case only I'll kind of show our activity indicator. Let me scroll now and see. Let me reload it once. Here it's visible. Let me scroll. Let me scroll. Yeah, now it came to the end, so activity indicator is not visible and it is working as expected. This is how we'll actually implement our infinite scroll functionality. I hope you like the content, and also I have created most asked interview questions playlist. Go check out them, and if you like the content, please do subscribe to my channel.